I'm Alan Gillen, CEO of Appalachian Wireless. I represent the 165 employees of Appalachian Wireless who live here and provide services to our people in East Kentucky. Today we partner with WYMT to bring you this historic SOAR event, building a new future for East Kentucky.
Appalachian Wireless, supporting our region now and in the future. Now let's join the SOAR Summit at the Eastern Kentucky Expo Center in Pikeville.
No, it's all you. Good morning. We are ready to get the program started. Are you ready? We're excited to be here today. Big round of applause for the crowd that's here. You guys look great. Really excited about this day. We're going to get started with a word of prayer, and we have Pikeville City Commissioner Barry Cheney. They've done a great job hosting us for this event over the year, and also supporting SOAR's work from Bell County to Boyd County. And I've really been impressed with their commitment for us to work all across this region. So I'm honored to have Pikeville City Commissioner Barry Cheney here to start us with a word of prayer.
Let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, we call unto you from the secret place of God. Lord, it is under your wings that we trust. Your truth is our shield and our buckler. Lord, I pray that today that you would bring us together, united as one voice. Lord, as we deal with poverty, drug addiction, and the issues that have afflicted Eastern Kentucky. Lord, let us work together and let neighbor look on neighbor and think of those things that are troubling him. Lord, we ask that you be with our new governor. Lord, guide him and be with him through the tangles of government and regulation. Lord, I pray that you would bless him. Father, we also thank you and ask that you continue to be with our congressman, who has been a blessing to our area for many, many years. Lord, we thank you for hearing our prayer this morning. In Jesus' holy name we pray. Amen and amen.
All right, we're gonna get started. I'm excited to introduce our first speaker for the morning, one of the founding co-chairs of SOAR, a tireless, committed partner for Eastern Kentucky and Appalachia, Kentucky, chairman of the Appropriations Committee, our Congressman Hal Rogers.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for the nice introduction, Jared. Nice and brief and to the point. Reminds me a little bit when I was first elected. We were doing town meetings across the district in a really fast way because we didn't have much time. And people locally to introduce me, were told to be very brief because we were on a tight schedule. So the time came in one particular county, close to my home county, and the young lady was very nervous about speaking, so she had called my office to find out what to say, and they said, be brief, we're on a tight schedule. Besides, this is next door to Hal's home county, so people know him already. So here's how those instructions came out. She says, very pleased to present to you Hal Rogers. You all know him, so the less said the better. Wow, what another great event. You know, it seems only yesterday that we assembled here in this very room, a year and a half or whatever ago, on that blustery, blizzardy day. And we thought maybe a couple of hundred people might make it through the storm, the snowstorm, to get here. But you came and you came and you came, and finally the place was packed with some, I think, almost 2,000 people to talk about what can we do to bring prosperity, if you will, or at least acceptability, to Eastern Kentucky. And you came, and you filed reports, and you shared ideas. And that's been going on now for this 2-year period of time. It's really exciting to see Eastern Kentuckians bubbling with enthusiasm and ideas and sharing thoughts about what can be done to help neighbors find a job and a better way of life. It's fun. Although we realize the utter seriousness of the effort that we're undertaking, it will not happen quickly, we said. It will not perhaps even be done in many of our lifetimes, because the problems that have generated in this region for all of these decades of time are going to be hard to work over as we go through the process of trying to make things better. But we've got 4,000 coal miners now employed in eastern Kentucky, where there were so many more just yesterday. In fact, more than 11,000 have been laid off since the beginning of 2009. So there's never been a greater necessity for invention, innovation, finding ways to supplement the coal industry. Now, let me make this point perfectly clear again. Coal is not dead. Coal is alive. Coal is going to be with us for a long time. I'm going to be one of the biggest boosters of coal that you'll find, as I have already. But I also realize we've got to find ways to supplement the employment that we've lost in that industry over these years. We've got to provide a way for people to support their families. Our graduates need a place to work after graduation from our wonderful schools, so we don't have to export our brightest young people out of the region, as so many of you and me have had to do after graduation from high school. And it's a shame that we've exported the talent that you teach and produce. And they're benefiting places like Ypsilanti, Michigan. So, I mean, Ypsilanti is a good place, I guess. But we've built the civic centers in so many different places, north and south, because we had to export the talent that you have produced. SOAR gives us a chance at this crossroads in time to pool our efforts, to pool our talent, to pool our enthusiasm, to pool our ideas, and drive forward as one group of people. It's time for us to get off the sidelines and into the game. We have more than 1,000 innovators here today, people who are talented and skilled and are training their minds on the task at hand, and that's to energize and reinvent our region. How many times in your lifetime have you had the opportunity, the chance to really make a difference like you've got right now? This is your moment. This is your chance to really make some things happen. You've got a governor who's enthused about the work that you're undertaking. You've got a congressman, limited in ability, but who's dedicated to help you make a difference in our region. We've always faced difficulties in eastern Kentucky. We've got a rich history of innovation to try to overcome difficulties that have been placed in our way. We faced a number of difficulties. Geographic barriers. I mean, these mountains are tough to build roads through or build water lines or sewer lines. Expensive, tough, sparse population, and on and on. But those trials that you've had to overcome bred a toughness and a determination within the people of eastern Kentucky that is unmatched anywhere else. You've had to overcome, and you overcame very strong difficulties. We've had innovators in education, like the leaders at Morehead State University, for example, who dreamed of establishing a space science center that's now designing and building satellites for NASA. I remember a few years ago when the president of Morehead State came to me and said, we want money to help buy and install a big dish. It was like, 15 or 20 feet across, a huge dish. And I said, what for? They said, we want to start a space science curriculum at Morehead State University. And I thought to myself, well, but we did it. And today, that big satellite sits atop the mountain on the campus of the university and is the starting point for this huge space science curriculum that they're teaching at Morehead State University, and they're building satellites for NASA. In fact, the NASA head came to see me a while back, and he brought up Morehead State University that they're helping finance. We can do this stuff if we set our mind to it. We've had innovators in healthcare. Mary Breckenridge, of course, rode horseback to deliver babies in Leslie County, established the Frontier Nursing Service that we all know about. Today we're educating our own doctors and nurses at local colleges and universities from Pikeville to Barberville to Whitesburg to Morehead. And we're making advancements in health care by improving access to specialized care and telemedicine at medical facilities all across the region. A few weeks ago, I had the chance to visit an employee health clinic at Laurel Grocery in London, a large food distribution company, been there a long, long time. They built their own clinic for their employees, and they've paid out some $40,000 in incentives to their own employees to get them to have regular checkups and vaccines and lose excess weight. They did this on their own. They invented it. And they're going to be here today to talk about it. I urge you to pay close attention to what they've done there. You'll hear about Laurel Grocery's efforts in the breakout session at 1 o'clock, by the way, and you shouldn't miss that one. That's a good one. That's the type of out-of-the-box thinking that's going on now, led by SOAR and your connection to it and what you're doing. Innovation is what we've got to do. Now, the idea that you have and that you're sharing with us very well may be the one that somebody picks up on, starts a company, hires people, and we keep some of these bright young seniors out of high school staying at home. That's what we're all after. Innovation has always been one of the strengths of Eastern Kentucky people. It used to be every town along the Cumberland River flooded almost every year. But they went to work, and with the Corps of Engineers and other people, state of Kentucky, we've built levees and flood walls and cut-throughs and all sorts of innovations to stop flooding. And since those steps were taken, not a single one of those towns is flooded. They still got their family Bible. It's not been ruined by a flood. innovation, determination, perseverance, starting with ideas. We've extended sanitary water and sewer to people living on top of the hills and the hollers all across our region. We built roads across these mountainous terrains, opening access to neighboring communities and states. Now, you're designing, and we're fixing to build, a broadband network that will bring high-speed, high-capacity fiber to every county in our region. This is the new interstate highway system in my book for the country. If you're not on this super highway, as I like to call it, then you're not on an interstate highway of today. And you're going to hear today from different people about a success story in two of our smallest and poorest counties, Jackson and Owsley counties. The local telephone company did a fantastic job, and Chairman Wheeler, FCC chairman, is going to tell us about that, among other things, in a few minutes. But they did this on their own. Now there's some 150 people, I'm told, already working out of their homes in those two small, poor counties, doing work for Hertz Rent-A-Car and whomever. A lot of them shut-ins in their home, now being productive and earning money and providing opportunity. So, Silicon Holler is now open for business. It takes all of us working together, from tourism, to agriculture, economic development, healthcare, education, everywhere in between. All of these 12 working groups that's now within SOAR that you belong to and are working on locally and regionally are beginning to pay off. We're beginning to see the revival of the economy of Eastern Kentucky. You're making a difference. What I want to do today is to encourage you to redouble your efforts. We need to get there quicker because we're losing still our young people having to move away. So I urge you, let's redouble our efforts. Now, there is not a silver bullet that will solve all of our problems overnight. There's no one way to do this. There are 1,000 ways to do it. And what you do in Laurel County will not resemble anything you do perhaps in Floyd County, and so forth and so on. These are going to be solutions that you work out locally within a regional framework. And SOAR hopefully will provide the opportunity for you to be a part of the effort across the region, to learn what's been done in another county, and maybe that can be adapted to my county and so on. A pooling of talent and effort and ideas. That's what SOAR is all about. It takes all of us working together to make things happen and to reimagine the future of our region. Today, we're going to witness some of the very first fruits of your effort. Evidence of unity, evidence of multi-level partnerships, and a future with golden rewards. You're going to hear about those today. This is an innovation summit. We want to put on display things that you've already had success in doing. As we kick off this, I call it Monumental Day, let me say how grateful I am to have you here, to be a part of this, and to have our special guests here with us today, helping us find solutions, at least from the state and federal levels. You're going to hear today from Dr. Tom Frieden, the director for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta, the head of the so-called CDC. He is involved today, at this minute, in trying to fight the outbreak of Zika around the world. Even in spite of the busyness of this man doing just that, he's here with us because he was here when we started this thing, and he's been with us all the way through. In fact, he was able to furnish staff for SOAR to work on health issues across our whole region, and that person is still with us. That's Dr. Tom Frieden. In fact, he and I were talking yesterday. 2 years ago, during a bad time, he agreed to come here and spend 3 days in our region visiting with hospitals and clinics and nurses and doctors and so forth, trying to assess the health problems that we are immersed in, and they're heavy. But all the while, he was doing this just as the outbreak of Ebola was taking place in Africa. And he was on the phone a lot while we were traveling down these highways. And he reminded me yesterday, he said, and now here I am back again, while around the world we're having the outbreak of the Zika mosquito. History repeating itself. But you'll hear from him during the first breakout session at 1 o'clock and later this morning. Then we have with us Tom Wheeler, chairman of the Federal Communications Commission, who's going to share his keynote around 10 o'clock this morning. And we're excited that he's with us. He's back with us after having been here a few weeks ago, as I've told you about. And Earl Gohl, whom you know, federal co-chair of the Appalachian Regional Commission. And we want to thank him for believing in SOAR and investing in this mission of ours and this vision. And he will be speaking shortly, and we can't say enough good things about Earl Gohl, the co-chair of ARC. SOAR's success hinges greatly upon efforts from the state of Kentucky. And I'm proud and thrilled to say that Governor Bevin is leading that charge. As co-chair of the SOAR effort, I could not be more happy with his involvement, commitment, and passion for the same things you and I are talking about. And so, Governor, we're thankful for your partnership as co-chair of this organization and all the efforts that you and your colleagues at state government are doing to make Eastern Kentucky a better place. This is a man of innovation himself, a very successful entrepreneur, which is what we want to emulate in this organization. So we look forward to hearing his insight today. So would you help me welcome the governor of the great Commonwealth of Kentucky, Governor Matt Bevin.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you. Good morning. It is good to see you. Are you glad to be here this morning? Come on now. It's not that early. Are you glad to be here? Do you believe, really and truly, if you believe that Eastern Kentucky has a bright future, let me hear from you. Do you believe there is possibility? Yes. I'll tell you, it's true. Ralph Waldo Emerson once noted that nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm. So thank you for being here. Believe it. The solutions are going to come from here. I find it intriguing, and I don't mean to pick on them, but there's always one or two people, like in section 207 and 201, they're able to slip out if it starts going south down here. But I would encourage you all to move on in here, be a part of the solutions. To those that have set up the booths and the demonstration tables that are on each side of these black curtains, Thank you for being here. For those of you that are now seated here that will be out there, thank you. For those of you that are here, make sure you take time to go around and take a look at the ideas that people have brought here. It's interesting, there is no amount of solution that's going to come from Frankfort or from Washington that is not going to be brought to bear by those of you in the local community. At the end of the day, it is going to be the local community finding solutions. I was at the very first Source Summit. It was a cold December, as was alluded to, back in 2013. I was actually one of those people that was a little farther back. I was here and then up in that first level right there. And it was a full crowd, and many of you were probably there. Thank you if you have continued to come back. In the very beginning, if you remember, there were a lot of identifications of problems and issues that we'd want to solve. Even then, there were people who had come from the outside. There were experts, people who had come from other regions of the country, where they had come with their ideas of what they had done to try to transform their region and chart a new path. And so there were ideas, but there were, as I recall, more time spent on identifying the issues that we wanted to solve. And that is no different, except that now is the time to start coming up with solutions. That was the challenge I put out, and that the Congressman has put out, and others as well, leading up to this Innovation Summit, is that we want now to get the ideas. We want to hear from each of you and the ideas that you have, because the solutions will come from those of you here. And again, it's not going to come from government alone. Can government be an ally in this? Yes. But I beg of you to understand, this is our problem here in these mountains, in these communities, in these counties. These are our issues. These are our opportunities to find local solutions. I was struck by the invocation. In the invocation, the pastor talked about neighbor helping neighbor. That's exactly right. I was struck as I came by the campus today and I saw the verse that's inscribed there at the base of the campus. I lift mine eyes up unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. What's not, I don't believe the entire verse written on there, maybe it is. My help cometh from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. Our help is going to come from beyond us. It's going to come from beyond this community, from higher sources of authority even than in Frankfort or in Washington. But it's also going to come from each and every one of us, from within each one of us as individuals. I grew up in the mountains. I didn't grow up in these mountains. It made me laugh, actually, when he talked about the 15 to 20 foot satellite dish. When I was a kid, that's what the rich people had so they could watch TV. If you remember those, I don't know where they all went. But if you remember in the 70s, they would get wheeled in on these tractor trailer trucks, these monster dishes, just so you could get like 3 or 4 TV stations. We never had a TV when I was a kid. I don't think my dad ever made 20 grand a year in his life. Raised a family of 8, worked in jobs in little factories and mills, a shoe factory, wood mills, different things. But I tell you what, I was raised with a belief that the American dream is real. And this is what I want you to understand. The American dream is real. It's alive and well, and the opportunity for it is great in small communities like this, because in small communities like this, you have the opportunity to infuse in your young people the values and the things that made America great and continue to make America great. A respect for God, a respect for country. I see those who have served this nation, representatives from the disabled American veterans here in the front row. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here. Thank you for your service. Truly appreciate it. The greatness of America is what we make it to be. We talk about the rungs of success. Well, the lowest rungs of the ladder are comprised of simple jobs. There's no shame in work. Work is a good thing. And this is another thing that I would challenge us to realize, is that today it is our responsibility to find solutions, simple solutions. Some will be on the interstate highway, as the congressman has said, the future jobs that are technologically driven. Others will be basic jobs, skilled jobs, working with our hands kind of jobs. We need both. The ladder is comprised of many rungs. I want to touch just briefly on a couple of things real quickly, and then I will allow the next speaker to come on up and we'll move on through. But today, be engaged, I beg of you. Be engaged in this process. Don't come simply hoping to hear some magic words that are going to fix it all. This is going to require work and effort from every single one of us. If we want it, it will happen. If we have enthusiasm, we can make it come to fruition. If we believe in this, we can make it a possibility. If we don't, if we're waiting for someone else to do it, it may be a long time in waiting. Two things that I want to touch on. Number one, the budget that we just passed. I won't go into great details other than to draw your attention to just a couple of things in it. First of all, we put $5 million into the Cole County College Continuation Scholarship Program, $5 million for each of the next 2 years to ensure that our young people in these communities continue to have access above and beyond the other financial aid that's available to them. Monies that are available to help kids go on to college. It encourages me, again, when I come up over the rise and I see buildings going up in Pikeville. It's awesome. It's outstanding. It is. If you don't feel good about what's happening here, and a tip of the hat to President Patton at the university and to so many others who have really pioneered what we are seeing there. A lot of good work is happening in this community. This can be a model, frankly, for other communities in and around Eastern Kentucky. Let us continue to pour into that. So these $5 million are so that young people can go to school from these Cole counties. That's additional money, $5 million for each of the next 2 years in this biennial budget that we just passed. We also put $10 million in there. And in a moment, you'll be able to hear from Commissioner Donahue, who I'll introduce in just a bit. But we have $10 million a year that's available to our Cole counties that is going to be able to be determined by the judge executive, the local representative, and the local senator will come up with projects that they agree this is what our community needs. And they're meant to be projects that will truly be transformative. We can throw a lot of money at things and build things. You all have seen things that have been built with now have weeds growing up through the parking lots of them that have never been used. We're not looking to simply put infrastructure in place, but there are projects, some of which will build something, some of which will be a service, some of them will be simply training programs, whatever the case might be. That's what this symposium, this summit is about. Coming up with those ideas. Give those ideas to your local elected officials. They in turn will be able to compete with those ideas for this $10 million a year that's going to be poured back into these counties. We also have contributed another $2 million a year, as has been the case, to Operation Unite. That's something that was started by Congressman Rogers. It has been effective as we have looked to fight this drug scourge, and we will continue to pour dollars into that. I also want to use this moment to announce that we are creating for the first time ever something that actually came out of one of the earlier SOAR summits. It was an idea. It has been bandied about, but it was discussed in some measure at a couple of summits ago, and that is the idea of creating some kind of a permanent fund, the proceeds of which would fund projects in coal country here in these counties. And so in this last budget, we put $15 million in an endowment that will be used. It's coming from coal severance money and other monies that we have, and there will be more monies in the future. It's something that, frankly, I wish we'd started 10 or 20 years ago when the coal severance money was more robust. That said, this will be a permanent fund, the proceeds of which will be used to create and fund projects in this community. Thank you. I want to give a special shout out to, there were a lot of people that were involved in that, but I'll tell you, Senator Stivers, Robert Stivers was instrumental in making sure that that happened. He's the president of the state senate, and really and truly, it would not have happened without his leadership. I'm grateful to him for that, really. For those of you that are represented by him as your senator, you're fortunate to have a leader like that. But truth be told, all of us are fortunate because it takes that kind of leadership in our House and Senate in Frankfort to step up. And I want you to make note of the people who are here today, make note of the people who are not. There are leaders who want to do what's right by our communities. I want to mention one other thing. Again, this Economic Development Fund, I should mention, is going to be used for 4 primary things: economic development, infrastructure, public health and safety, and then investing into internet capabilities, IT, information technology, and access itself. The last thing I want to touch on real quickly is the broadband initiative. It's something we've talked about a lot. It started with Congressman Rogers, who had an idea that we could create tremendous opportunity here in Eastern Kentucky, that we could bring a tremendous amount of opportunity to our communities if we could become more wired and connected to the outside world. He's right. Unfortunately, what started to happen with that project, perhaps of good intent, let's assume it was, I think so, but reality is we started to broaden it, so now we were going to cover everything. And we were going to wire the whole state. And while that's admirable, if you try to be everything to everybody, you end up being nothing to anybody. And so I am proposing, and I am focusing on, to the absolute degree that we are able, of taking this wired project and bringing it back and focusing it on Eastern Kentucky. And that is really how we're going to get something done. This isn't to say that it isn't needed in other places. This isn't to say that we won't focus on those opportunities as they arise. But we are going to take those dollars and take that focus and take that initiative and focus initially where we were originally intending it to be. I-75 and eastward, that corridor being a trunk, and then that mid-mile starting to branch into our communities, and ultimately in time the last mile that will touch us where we live. That is how we are going to do this, and we are focusing our efforts to make that happen. And that is something that my administration is focusing on, working with our local carriers. We are not going to be building competing infrastructure. That doesn't even make sense. It would take us so long to do it. By the time we were done, much of what we would have put in place would have been outdated, and the monies would have been largely misspent. We are going to partner, and we have recently enacted some letters of understanding, and we're starting to put those into contract form, where we're going to work with local providers, the people, some of whose names are around this arena, people who have been involved in this community. And we're going to partner with them so that we get the best bang for the taxpayer's buck. We're going to get more done with fewer dollars, and it's going to touch more people. That's how we're going to move this project forward. I'm excited by this possibility. I was recently in Europe and had occasion to speak to a company that wasn't sure they were even going to come to North America, let alone to the United States, let alone to Kentucky. They're actually in Kentucky this week. I was there less than a month ago, and they're in Kentucky this week, and it's about a 98% chance that they're actually going to move here. They're going to invest between $25 and $30 million initially and create 110 jobs in Eastern Kentucky. This is an exciting possibility. There is much about this area that is stunning. You come in here, what a stunning day, an extraordinary day. The beauty of the mountains, the beauty of the seasons, the beauty of the people, the spirit of the people, the work ethic. There is so much that much of the rest of the world wants to tap into. We want to ensure that with the infusion of dollars that we have from the state and from the federal government, together with the ideas that you have at the local level, that we find a way, both from a wired standpoint and from just a good old work ethic standpoint, we make sure the outside world has access to us, understands what we have to offer, and that we deliver our best to the outside world. This is how we're going to change things. It's going to start with each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. God bless you. I look forward to interacting with you in the hours ahead. Thank you.
I got an email as we were leading up to this event. Well, I got 1,000 emails, but I got one specifically that had at the bottom of it, it said, we've got a world to change and a day to do it in. And there's a lot of weight on our shoulders here today on what we're talking about in Appalachia, Kentucky. We've all seen the challenges we have firsthand in our communities. I see it firsthand in my neighbor's face. That's used to work in the coal industry and is trying to make hard decisions for his life. And for me, today is pretty exciting. We're 3 years in, approaching 3 years into an initiative that began as an event. And we have over 1,000 people here again today. And I believe the 1,000 people that are in here right now still believe in and are committed to unifying our region. Am I right? That we're here to be united about a bright future for our communities and our region as a whole. I'm excited that on this day, Governor Bevin, he's an Appalachian. I'm excited that Chairman Tom Wheeler today, he's an Appalachian. That Dr. Frieden with the CDC is an Appalachian. We came through these doors, and everybody in this room, I believe, is committed to a brighter future for Appalachia, Kentucky. And that's a powerful thing because for a long time, I've been a Floyd Countyan. And for a long time, you've been from Hazard. But today, we are Appalachia, Kentucky. And we realize that our problems are much bigger than our individual communities. And I've realized that I'm part of something much bigger than myself. I heard a quote several years ago. I was in a presentation. I use it all the time. I was at a conference. It was from Xerox, and you'll see it on the back of our shirts. Everybody's going to get a free T-shirt today. Does that sound good? So on the back of the shirt, it says, "The best way to predict the future is to create it." And as I heard that quote and I thought about Xerox that had to use innovation, you know, they were known, if you said, "Go Xerox this for me," what'd that mean? Somebody knows what that means. Copy it, right? And they had to decide, are we going to make copies, or are we going to be something bigger than that? And in their strategic meetings, they decided, hey, we're not just going to wait and see what the future is, we're going to create it. And I think that's what we have here today, is a room full of people who are committed to creating something that seems on its face as a tremendous challenge. I also love the scripture that says, the heart of a man will make his plans, but God directs his steps. And I don't know about you, but I've spent some mornings in prayer leading up to this meeting, and spent some time this morning, spent some time sitting back here on the couch, saying some prayers. But I really believe we're part of something bigger than we each understand and can imagine. Today, it's about innovation, not just as a business or a single business coming up with an innovative business idea, but innovation across our communities in solving the problems and capitalizing on the opportunities that lie in Appalachia. We've got a lot of great assets. There are challenges, but you're going to meet people today all around this building that don't see challenges. They see opportunities. And those are the people we have to have together to overcome the tremendous hurdles that we have. Our vision for Eastern Kentucky and Appalachia, Kentucky is a connected Appalachia, Kentucky. And that's on several fronts. It's fiber, infrastructure. We want to be connected to the global economy through technology. But we also want communities, county judges, mayors connected to one another. We also want K through 12 education connected to workforce development and secondary education and economic development. That's a pretty big group that traditionally has worked in silos, but through SOAR, when we've been able to connect. And you're going to see partnerships that have grown out of that. This is a year about outcomes. All of these people that are here are part of the attitude and momentum that is SOAR. So again, it's not just about business innovation, it's about communities solving problems. And there's been a lot of great work go into that, and I'm so thankful for all the people throughout our communities. We call them shapers, people who have committed to make a difference in their community. I want to give just a few pointers about the day. There's a page in the program, page 6. We came up with a very creative title for page 6. It says, "Make the most of the day." That was creative, right? That was a team effort. But we want you to make the most of the day, and there's some directions there on how we think you can do that. We want you to look through the list of the people who are here this afternoon and pick 10 out that line up with the work that you're trying to do or ideas you've had, and go meet the people, connect with them, and build a relationship. Then we want you to share your story, your idea, share it one-on-one with those people, share it with your neighbor that's sitting beside you, share it with hashtag SOAR Innovation on social media. But we want you to share your story, your idea, your solution. So we want you to connect, inspire, and the third thing is shape. We want you to leave this day committed to do something in your community, in your realm of influence. And if you can't find the partners, resources, and ideas here today to take back with you and commit to do something, then I don't know. You slept through my speech. Who's sleeping? So 3 things: connect, inspire, shape. We've got an app for today. Download that. It's in the iTunes App Store. It's also on Android, the Google Play Store. On that link, on that app, you can go in and send your idea, solution under Make a Comment. The directions are right here. Do that. We're going to compile them all, put it on our website. We'll send it to the governor and congressman. And today is about realizing that SOAR is not a thing that's going to do everything. But that SOAR is a place where we embrace new ideas and we commit as a group to find a way to get it done. And we'll continue to be a champion for a brighter day in Appalachia, and I'm excited to be here. We believe that the future of Appalachia absolutely hinges on us being a part of a digital economy. The governor's exactly right. There are so many elements to what we're trying to do in Eastern Kentucky, and you see that as we look at the areas of innovation we're talking about today: industrial development, entrepreneurship, local foods, tourism. All these are pieces. But we believe we've got to infuse a new perspective into all of that, and that's a broadband perspective, a connected perspective. And we have our next speaker here today that I think can help illustrate that much better than I can. Why is that important? I say all the time, the internet in your community lays opportunity in your lap. It does not guarantee success. Today is finding out how do we make being connected a success and shift and transition and grow the economy of Appalachia, Kentucky. Our next speaker, his bio is in your program, so I'm not going to read it all. Please welcome to the stage Roberto Gallardo.
Good morning. I am delighted to be here with you today. I am an Associate Extension Professor with Mississippi State University. I work with rural communities, helping them transition to, plan for, and prosper in the digital age. We accomplish this through a community development outreach model. So today I'm going to share with you a couple of lessons learned and why it's really important to increase awareness about this important topic. But what is the digital age? Do I need to, well, hold on, you've got to love technology, right? Oh, there we go. My bad. Okay, so what is the digital age? I'm going to share with you 4 characteristics. Number 1, it is exponential, okay? The technology underlying it is moving at exponential speeds. What does that mean? It means that it starts really slow and then it takes off. For example, if the Volkswagen Beetle of 1971 would have improved at the same rate as computer chips did, as of 2015, it would reach 300,000 miles per hour. It would have a fuel economy of 2 million miles per gallon, and it would cost 4 cents. Okay? What does that mean? It means that devices are becoming smaller, more powerful, and cheaper. Okay? This leads us to digital. Everything is being digitized to ones and zeros for good and for bad, and that is very, very important because it is opening up a lot of opportunities for rural communities. It is estimated that billions, with a B, of pictures are shared every month. Billions. Never in human history. This leads us to the ability to combine. Everybody, some of you may have heard about the Internet of Everything, the Internet of Things. Well, everything is being digitized, right? Forbes writer says that the oil of the 21st century is big data, but it has to be refined into gasoline for it to be meaningful. And here is where algorithms come into play. That's very important to keep in mind. There is a term called technology lag, which says that we have been very good at putting information in, but we are lacking in putting it out in meaningful ways. We are getting there with machine learning and other terms. And finally, it is disruptive, okay? This combination of ideas and recombination of ideas and massive amounts of data are leading to disruptions. Internet 1.0 brought us the web, and with it, it changed the way we access information. Internet 2.0 brought us social media and e-commerce. With it, it changed the way we shop, and it changed the way we communicate. Internet 3.0 is in a head-on collision to disrupt 4 of the most regulated industries in this country: healthcare, education, finance, and transportation. So make no mistake, it is disrupting left and right. Okay? Well, so what? That's the question I get from rural communities across the country. Why should I be interested in this? Well, as the governor and congressman mentioned before, the digital economy is here. There are today 32 million more jobs than there were in 2010. The question is, how many of those are here in Kentucky? Or how many of those will be here in Kentucky? The digital economy alone will reach 6.6 trillion with a T by 2020 in the top 20 most developed nations. We also have to look at that the digital economy alone used the same amount of electricity that was used to light the entire planet in 1985. And surely you must be thinking, well, that's got to slow down. It can't continue like that. Well, over half of the world population remains offline. So this will only get better, okay? But perhaps the most interesting thing is that innovation is changing, and here this summit is all about innovation. See, in the industrial age, you had a density of minds and resources, big cities, big companies, and that's where innovations would take place. But as you can see with the examples today, it is changing. It is providing rural communities a very important opportunity. Physical density, if you ask me, is no longer that relevant in the digital age. Now, face-to-face will remain important. It will always be. But it is opening up opportunities for rural communities because due to economies of scale during the industrial age, they were left out. The digital age is changing that, which leads us to our third, so what? It is leveling the playing field. I am a firm believer that the digital age has the potential, if you have the know-how and the connectivity, to level the playing field. So, for example, there is a term you will be hearing a lot more called prosumers, meaning those that produce and consume. Jeremy Rifkin mentioned that term, and as 3D printers become more popular and cheaper, as people produce their own energy, they will be producers and consumers. That is opening up doors for rural communities because that physical density advantage is no more a big requirement. And really, creativity and connectivity is the limit in this digital age. There is no reason why a business in rural Kentucky cannot compete with a business in a larger metropolitan area in the digital age. There really is not, as long as they have the know-how and the connectivity. But we have a couple barriers to overcome. The most important of them all is called the digital divide. What is the digital divide? It is those that have access to the technology and know-how and those that do not. This is really, really important. I'm going to share with you a couple of maps and data that I crunched for you all today here in Kentucky. It's based on 2014 data, so it's a little bit outdated. And let me make clear something right now. There's been great advances in connecting rural communities, make no mistake. But like anybody that has run a marathon knows that that last mile is the hardest to run. So happens here. Let me share with you, So the digital divide consists of two main components, access and affordability. There are rural communities that want to have it, they don't have it. And others that have access to it, but it is too expensive. It is too expensive. The other side of the digital divide is adoption and digital literacy. Many times rural communities have access to it, but they don't subscribe or they don't use it like they should. Digital literacy is critical for this. And the third thing that I believe is becoming very, very important is internet speeds. Many rural communities have connectivity, yes, but it is very inadequate. As the web evolves, responding to faster internet speeds in Asia and Europe, we are being left behind. If you don't believe me, try browsing the web today using dial-up and let me know how that goes. And that's going to happen quick, because remember that exponential characteristic, when it hits the ground, it's going to hit the ground running. So this map, I just want to point something. I apologize, it's a bit crowded, but I'm sure you're going to have access to it. That shows those with access to fixed broadband of 25 down and 3 up in the U.S. and Kentucky. And then we divided Kentucky into 3 types of counties: metro, small city, and rural. Notice the red bar. The red bar is rural counties. That's the percent of people with access to the technology. Compare it to the dark green, and you will see there is a divide, okay? So it's very important to keep in mind this. Another thing I want to highlight is adoption. This one, there's no granular data available at county level, but that shows Kentucky is shy of 70% of its households subscribing to broadband. It's not clear what speeds, and it's not clear how they use it. Many times they only use it for email, and they're missing out, or social media, they're missing out those more productive uses. Telework, telehealth, holoportation, teleportation, all those are coming. This one here shows Census Block Group data from 2014, FCC data, and it shows the 2 lighter colors shows those block groups in Kentucky that do not have access to 25 down, okay? And it's approximately, the average of those is about 23 megs, so you're a little bit under the 25 meg definition, and less than 10% of Kentucky block groups do not have access, have access to 25 down, fixed. This does not include wireless. Likewise with upload, the two lighter colors indicate they don't have at least 3 up, okay? The average for the state is about 4.7 megabits, so you are above the 3 megabit of the FCC, but less than 25% of Kentucky block groups do not have access, to this speed. So, this methodology is under peer review right now, but I wanted to share with you, as I've shared, it is 3 different components. I have crunched a digital divide index at the county level, which looks at access, looks at adoption, and looks at speeds. It combines them and it spits out an index score. Hopefully this will help our policymakers, and I am so thrilled to hear that leaders here in Kentucky are already looking at this issue and are working towards it. But this should help policymakers across the country better identify areas that need investment, not only in access, but in adoption and digital literacy as well. In summary, it is a critical issue. Those on the wrong side of the divide will suffer just like those that did not know how to read and write. It is that critical. It is important. It is moving fast. So we've got to make sure we get them on the right side of the divide. The key, as with anything, is awareness. We've got to convey the message. We've got to make sure that policymakers and residents and leaders alike understand that the digital divide is very, very important. That's why I jumped on the opportunity to come here and talk to you about this today. And like Public Policy 101 tells us, we've got to agree on the definition of the problem. If we do not agree on the definition, we will not agree on the solutions. So conveying the message is really, really important. Make sure we are all on the same page. And finally, and this is the great example, this summit, we've got to tackle this from multiple fronts. Nobody can do it alone, okay? You've got to rely on the carriers. You've got to rely on government. You've got to rely on local communities. They are being empowered. Nobody can do it alone. So it is very important to keep that in mind. Partnerships and collaborations are very, very important to tackle this 21st century issue. Technology started as entertainment or broadband technology. It is now moving to more productive uses. telework, why not come up with a telework-friendly community? Just like we provided incentives back in the day for industrial parks and 4-lane highways, why not make sure that our residents can telework or give some sort of incentives to companies that hire our residents? This will help us slow down the brain drain in rural communities. And I'm going to leave you with an analogy that I use a lot with rural Mississippi and other rural communities across the country when policy makers and leaders look at me and say, well, why do I want faster internet? What I have is okay. And so I typically respond, well, that's like asking 100 years ago, why do I want electricity if I already use candles? Nobody knew what electricity would bring, and nobody knows what more sophisticated internet applications will bring. Thank you so much.
I'm back. Hey, I want to introduce to you somebody who is really going to be, she's known already to many of you, but is going to become increasingly well known to many of you. Somebody who I am delighted to have shepherding our Department of Local Government. She is a girl who grew up in Beattyville. She is from Eastern Kentucky, graduated from high school there. She knows what woolly worms are more than just at the festival. But the bottom line is she's somebody who gets it. When I first was interviewing people, one of the things that I was told about her is that she was no nonsense. She was all business. She wasn't into all the kind of parties and all the extra stuff. She just wanted to see things happen for Eastern Kentucky. And I knew this was my kind of person. And it gives me great satisfaction to introduce to you a good friend of mine and somebody who I know will become a good friend of yours and of Kentucky's in the years ahead, our Commissioner of the Department of Local Government, Sandy Donahue. Everybody talks about the problems we have in the state. We all know about it, not only in this state, but in our local communities, in our own backyards. But guess what? Everywhere there's a problem, there's a solution. Are you a person who has ideas for solving problems? We want to hear from you. Maybe you have ideas about things that can be done in your local community. Perhaps you have an idea for teaching programs after school to young people on leadership. Maybe it's on teaching people about financial responsibility. Maybe you have an idea about how you can create a farmer's market to get local goods to market and help local producers. Whatever your idea, we want to hear about it. It's time to be part of the solution and not just identifying the problem. We need you. In order for Kentucky to be the best version of itself, it's going to take people like yourselves to come up with the solutions, the problem solvers, to come together. Bottom line is, let's get out there and make this happen. Together we can accomplish anything in this state because we are Kentucky. Everybody talks about the problem.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How awesome it is to see you here today and to feel the enthusiasm in this room. You may wonder why we chose to play this video as I came onto the stage, and the video is the reason that I am here. It is such an honor and a privilege to work with Governor Bevin, and certainly to have had the opportunity to work for Congressman Rogers, two of the most visionary people that we have seen in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. As Governor Bevin mentioned in the video, this is what we're about. We want to hear your ideas, and we want to figure out how we're going to implement your ideas. And that's what I hope to do at the Department for Local Government. Many of you know me, but many of you do not, so let me share with you. I have a long history in Appalachia. My family goes back to the turn of the century. Just last weekend, we were visiting in Jackson County, and I had some memories flooding back, thinking a little bit about, with some apprehension, what I was going to talk about when I came here today, and what my history is and how we arrived at where we are today. My grandfather at the turn of the century, actually great-grandfather at the turn of the century, worked for a little company called the Turkeyfoot Lumber Company. Turkeyfoot Lumber Company was substantial at the time. They harvested giant timber. They built roads, bridges, and railroads to excavate the timber, take it off to markets on down the line. My great-grandfather worked there, and to them, at that time, the new roads, bridges, and railroads was innovation. So what is innovation today? You know, we go back to Turkey Foot today. Maybe the roads are still there. The bridges are gone. The railroad's gone. And if we're very lucky, my grandfather used to take me as a small child. We could walk along the route of the old railroad and we may find a spike that was left over from when the railroad was pulled out. So again, their innovation and what our innovation today is two completely different things, but they had the same struggles that we did today. As Eastern Kentuckians, we are rugged, resilient people. The answers to our future lie within each and every one of us. And as the governor said, we all have ideas, and our administration would like to hear about them. And at the Department of Local Government, my job is to help you implement your ideas. So we're going to go about that in a couple different ways. First and foremost, we are going to try to maximize to the extent possible the resources we have available to invest our dollars better, stronger, with lasting results, and hopefully with jobs as a result. We are going to expedite our funding cycles so that when you come to us for assistance, you have a good application, your project's ready to go, and you have jobs tagged to your project. We are going to make every effort we possibly can to move that project along in an expeditious manner, because the longer we wait, the longer we lose. So you can count on when you come to talk to us, we're going to do everything we can to move any bureaucracy necessary to make your project work and make it work as quickly as we can. We are looking through our agency at ways to eliminate barriers. Sometimes there's regulations tied to federal money, and there's nothing we can do about that. But we can try to work with you so that you understand those regulations and we can help you move through them and negotiate them. However, sometimes we have regulations and requirements that maybe aren't so necessary. So we're looking at all of those to see what we can do within the letter of the law to reduce barriers to you as you develop your projects. We're going to seek new sources of funding. And we're going to be very aggressive about doing so. We're going to look in new ways, in different directions. And our ideas for doing that came back to you. Actually, the first project we plan to implement, as the governor mentioned earlier, is Endow Kentucky, a new Coalfields Endowment Program. And we worked with the Senate and the House, and we were able to be fortunate enough to obtain some funds during this session of the legislature to begin this new endowment. We will begin our first 2 years with $15 million. Those funds will be protected in perpetuity. We hope to grow that fund, and we intend to invest that fund with your help in your ideas to make a difference in our region. What's unique about the program is, typically with coal severance dollars, as we all well know, and I certainly hear enough from our county judge executives, I well know, money often has left this region to go to other places. We understand that, and we understand how frustrating that can be. But the money that's going to go into the endowment is not going to be taken from the county's portion of the coal severance funding. It's going to come from the portion that normally would have gone to the general fund. So while $15 million in the grand scheme of a state budget may not sound like a lot of money, the impetus behind this was phenomenal, and we cannot give enough thanks to the governor, the legislature, and the House for being able to help us with this new process. Our commitment to the success of the new endowment program lies so much that we have hired a staff person that will probably be spending most of his time working on this, as well as trying to grow our endowment and other funding. His name is Neil Cornett. He's from the mountains. He has a long line of family in Leslie and Hyden, Kentucky. I think Neil's with us if he wants to stand up and wave. So we're very excited to have Neil on staff, and I hope that you'll be hearing more good things from him in the future. While we're here and we have everyone here, we'd be remiss if we didn't invite you to come to our Governor's Local Issues Conference. This year it will be August 24th through 26th. We hope you'll come there and continue to share the wonderful conversations that you're having here today with us there and your other colleagues from across the entire state. While we're suffering in the eastern Kentucky coalfields, we must also remember that we have several counties, 9 I think to be exact, in western Kentucky who are also suffering as we are. And perhaps we can cross-share ideas, and so you're certainly welcome to come to our local issues conference, and we'd love to have you and bring your enthusiasm with you when you come. One of our partners today in other funding is Chairman Earl Gohl. Chairman Gohl is with the Appalachian Regional Commission. He has been a true and dear friend to Kentucky. He certainly has offered guidance, wisdom, and much effort on his part to try to help us work through our conditions here. He is very well versed in the needs of local and state governments. He spent over 20 years in local and state government before coming to Appalachian Regional Commission. But as I was reading Earl's bio, what struck me is, in his Senate confirmation hearing, he said that each federal dollar expended by the Commission is an investment in the economic future of Appalachian families that will generate a return for the American taxpayers. This is the same mission that I was assigned by Governor Bevin when I accepted the position as Commissioner of the Department of Local Government. And one of the last things that he said to me as I left his office that day is, go over there to DLG and get more return on investment. That's what we are going to do, and with your help, we're going to do it well, and I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you. You are always welcome at our office, and we will always meet with you. And thank you for allowing us to be here today. And as I leave the stage, again, I would like to thank Congressman Rogers and Governor Bevin, 2 of the greatest visionary men that I have met in my lifetime, and I know all of you feel much the same way. Thank you.
Good morning. It is great to be here in Kentucky. ARC came this week to Pikeville ready to work. We have several folks with us today. We have Scott Hunter, who's the Scott Hamilton, who's the executive director of ARC, as well as several other staff who are going to be around today and are interested in talking with folks about the Power Initiative and talking about what your ideas are and what your applications are, and to really be able to dig into some of the substantive issues and the challenges and the opportunities that Power certainly provides us. Tomorrow we're going to be at Hayden, where we're going to sit and we're going to talk with a whole group of young leaders in Appalachia about the future, about entrepreneurship, and about what they see as the challenges and what they see as the opportunities. In the afternoon, we're going to be in Middlesboro with the Middlesboro Local Food, Local Places organization. This is one of 60 local foods, local place grantees that we're working with, and we're doing a lot of hopefully some investing with these folks. And on Wednesday, we'll be in Knox County, where we'll meet with a whole series of both federal officials and also the Knox County local leaders to work on and to look at challenges that they face and ways to address those opportunities. But you know, they told me that SOAR wasn't going to work. They told me that it just, the first year you may get 300 people if you give them lunch, and they'll stay through lunch, but you're not going to get them to stay. The politics are just too hard. The geography is, a challenge. The economics are really hard. And if those don't get you, just all the different local rivalries within the region are gonna trip you up, and they're not gonna let you get very far, so don't expect very much. So 3 years later, 3 years in a row, 1,000 people came to this auditorium to talk to each other, to figure out their future, to lay out their priorities, and to figure out the next steps. And then that clearly, there's a lot of credit that goes around, but obviously a lot of the credit goes to Congressman Rogers, and also a lot of the credit goes to the governor for continuing this really critical, important initiative that can mean so much to so many people throughout the region. But you know, the real credit for this work is each of you. The fact that each of you have come here today with a purpose. You had a lot of other stuff you could do today. But you've shown up today, and you showed up last year, and you showed up the year before, and you showed up at the working groups, and you have showed up at the meetings, and you have showed up at the strategy sessions, and you put skin in this game, and you've invested, and you have dreams, and you have hopes. It's what makes this work. And much of the credit for this day and for the accomplishments that we've seen over the last year is about you. And I want to thank you for it. You know, I've seen differences too. And I'm a federal bureaucrat from Washington, D.C. But I'll tell you the differences I've seen. In 2011, we ran with the Economic Development Administration and the Department of Agriculture something called Rural Jobs Accelerators. It was going to bring together local businesses to work together to help diversify economies and grow local economies. There were 13 awardees throughout the nation. Five in the Appalachian. 5. I felt really good. 2 were in West Virginia. There were no applications from Kentucky. 2014, after SOAR, the president announced in the State of the Union there would be 5 promise zones, 3 in the cities, 1 tribe, and 1 in a rural community. It's like, man, how are we going to do that? How are we going to get that? How are we going to work with? How are we going to figure this one out? It's after SOAR. Organizations partnered together. They worked together. They struggled together. They wrote priorities together. And they won it together. They won it. Of all the other rural communities in this country, it was Southeast Kentucky's application that made the day in the Promise Zone competition. That we've had 60 local food, local places named throughout the United States. 21 of them are in Appalachia. I'm feeling pretty good again. But this time, 4 of them are in Kentucky. And Kentucky's the only state with 4 local places, local foods grants. Last year when we did the Power Initiative, the first round of Power, there was $10 million in grants that were announced. 40% Kentucky. 40% Kentucky. Last year when they announced the Rural Impact Program for child poverty, there were 60 applications throughout the nation. 10 were awarded, 3 in Appalachia. You see a theme here? 3 in Appalachia, and of course, one of those was here in Kentucky. The difference is the willingness to compete, the willingness to look at innovative policies, the willingness to take risks, the willingness to work together, to collaborate, the willingness to reach higher than what you think you can reach. You know, innovation is SOAR. Innovation is SOAR. It's the long-term community engagement program that really stretches us all. The fact that we have today 140 different partners here talking about their commitments, their plans, their dreams, that's innovation. To be able to reach out in this community and to show what folks see as important, what folks see as what they're going to do, that's innovation. SOAR is succeeding at developing a network of partners. It is succeeding in getting folks actively engaged. It is succeeding in working towards a more vibrant economy in southeastern Kentucky. SOAR has challenged the region. SOAR has challenged the region, and SOAR has helped leverage incredible strength that the region holds. But you know, I get up every day and I start from the proposition that Appalachia is the next great investment opportunity in America. And I make that argument because of the folks who live here, because of the folks who get up every day and work very hard to see that their kids and their grandkids have better places to live and better opportunities than they did for themselves. That we have entrepreneurs who are social entrepreneurs, and we have entrepreneurs who are business entrepreneurs. We know that we have opportunities to exploit, whether it's in healthcare or energy or manufacturing or tourism or education. And the challenge that we all share, the challenge that we have to confront, and the challenge that we need to deal with and to collaborate on is how is it that we make sure that when those opportunities collide with those entrepreneurs, that there's a higher likelihood of success. And how are we able to do that? A lot has to do with leadership. A lot has to do with standing up and taking account of where we are. But that's what SOAR is about, and that's what the Appalachian Regional Commission is about. It's about partnering with communities to build that ecosystem so that we succeed. This year, we're very fortunate that in addition to the area development funds that we have had available historically, and that the governor and Sandy will come back and will make recommendations on how to invest those funds. But in addition to that, because of the leadership of Congressman Rogers, ARC also has $50 million in power funding. And power funding is clearly dedicated to coal-impacted communities, communities that have been affected by mine closures, by changes in reduction in the supply chain of coal, and communities with coal-fired power plants. And it is dedicated very definitely to help support the economic diversification of communities. At ARC, we believe that it's absolutely critical that we take the priorities of these funds and we work to invest them in ways that support and grow and make our workforce more competitive for the next century. That we also invest these funds in a way that support the development and the last mile of a variety of broadband opportunities throughout the region. We also believe that it is incredibly important that we invest and support the entrepreneurial ecosystem of Appalachia, that we support ways to encourage small business development, whether it's through angel funds or through training or through advocacy or for exporting or for the provision of capital. We also think it's critical that we also revisit and we support the development of business clusters, because it is the development of business clusters that will really help grow our local economies. And those are the opportunities that we see that we have. We're very enthused and we're very optimistic about what we've seen so far, because the competition is going to be competition here. There's going to be competition. But we know that with the leadership of SOAR, that last year Kentucky got themselves organized. And when you were organized, you got 40% of the money. When you were organized and you were thoughtful, that we were able to invest in SOAR, we were able to invest in substance abuse, we were able to invest in local foods, and we were able to invest in the community colleges of Southeast Kentucky. We have opportunities, we have challenges, but we also have capital. And it's so important that as we move forward, that we look at every nonprofit as an enterprise that has to succeed, an enterprise that has to have a plan, and an enterprise that has to have a vision. And that we look at every grant not as a gift, but as capital, as a capital investment, as an investment that provides for some benefit for some group of folks, to help them grow and expand, but also as a capital that provides a return. It provides a return to Southeast Kentucky, that provides a return to Kentucky, that provides a return to American taxpayers. I have a great job. I have a great job. I've been blessed to have this opportunity to get to know folks throughout the 420 counties of the Appalachian region. And in that experience, what I've found and what I've learned is that there's an incredible group of folks who get up every day. They're nurses, they're mayors, they're teachers, they're run dry cleaners, they are senators, they're a whole bunch of things. It's like an army. It's like an Appalachian army of folks who have dedicated to the growth and development of this region. I am so looking forward to this next phase of SOAR, because the leadership that the governor and the congressman have provided actually is really an incredible experience. Because as we have a really strong and some might say entrenched board at SOAR, we then have this young kid telling us what to do. Isn't he great? Isn't he great? So, as we move forward, ARC is a partner. ARC is an investor. We are here to challenge you. We are here to partner with you. But more importantly, we're here to succeed with Southeast Kentucky. Thanks so much. It's great to be here with you today.
Thank you, Earl. We're going to have Representative Leslie Combs share a couple comments about the innovative legislation that was passed this year in Kentucky supporting P3, and that's public-private partnerships, an exciting opportunity for our state as we move forward. She led that cause for the last couple of years, so Representative Leslie Combs.
Thank you. Good morning. I want to take just 1 second of personal privilege. Let me start off by saying, there's my buddy Appleman Wright, with all my buddies down the front. Thank you all for your service. I also look across the room and I see some of my legislative buddies. Good to see you all. But more importantly, I look across this entire room. I see friends. I see friends because I'm here at home in Pikeville. So to everyone else, welcome to my hometown of Pikeville. I want to start out by thanking someone for a very important initiative, and I want to end my comments today by thanking someone for allowing something I think that's going to be very important to this Commonwealth and also all across this country. First, I want to say, Congressman Rogers, thank you for the creation of SOAR. I think it's truly a wonderful and inspiring initiative, okay, because, this is our third year, I do believe. And we have brought people together. We brought people together to talk about the issues and the ideas and the ways to fix those issues that we face. There's some that agree, that think that we haven't accomplished all that much. But I'll tell you one thing it's definitely done. It has brought us all together. And unless we don't all come together, we can't fix those issues. So thank you, Congressman. With that, what I'm here today to talk about is a piece of legislation that passed this past legislative session. Yes, I'm very excited about it. I'm very proud about it. It's like I go around and often discuss with people, I'm like a proud mama. It's like a child I've raised and put out into the world, and now she'll go out and go forth and do good. It took us about 4 years to do it. But let me first say, I in no way did this by myself. Yes, I was kind of the driver of the ship, but I had a whole lot of people on that ship with me. And I want to start out by thanking all those members in the House of Representatives who helped shepherd this. I want to thank President Stivers in the Senate for their support. Governor, where'd the governor go? There, you're right there, Governor. I want to thank you and your administration this year for your all support in making this come to be. Because like I said, it's been 4 years in the making. So let's talk a little bit about public-private partnerships. And from this point forward, I'm just going to call it P3s because you can get tongue-tied trying to do that very fast. But anyway, let's talk about P3s and why that's important. Over time, over the last couple of years, you've heard people refer to P3 as though we've already been doing it. Yeah, sort of, kind of. We've been doing P3s, but not in the formal traditional sense that P3s are truly done correctly so that they are truly beneficial to the way you want them to be served. P3s, yes, are partnerships. So let's talk about why, and then we'll talk about just exactly what they do. Why would you want a P3? Well, let's look at the situation we're in right now. The federal government's out of money, our state government is out of money, and our local governments are out of money. But we have so many things we need to do at all three of these levels, particularly at our local levels. We have infrastructure that is badly, badly needed, but we have no money. We have no borrowing capacity. So how are we going to do that? There's this innovative way called P3. Now, P3 does not equal cash. It does not equal money. It equals a financing tool, another financing tool in the toolkit that allows you to do these many, many projects. All right, let me give you some examples. Let me tell you what we did in Kentucky, because I'm going to brag on it here in just a minute, because, y'all, this has gotten to be really, really big. And I knew it was, but I didn't really realize till last week just how big what we've done in Kentucky is. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. Why P3 legislation? Because there's folks out there that say you don't need to enact legislation for P3. Why do you? Yes, you do. Because here's how P3 works. You have the entity that needs the project. Let's use local governments, for example, that need infrastructure. They need the projects. You have the people, the architects, the engineers, the folks who actually design that project. And then you have the financiers who have the money. All right, you bring those three together, and they become very, very complex, and you want to make sure they're done correctly, because what this does is the reason you want P3 legislation is the financier wants to protect their risk that they're taking, and the people, like for example in the local governments that want the infrastructure, they want the protection. Our taxpayers, our citizens want the protections of knowing that they're going to get what they asked for and that they are going to receive that benefit and no risk to them either. So, what do? You create this legislation that lays out the rules. It lays out the processes. And it says, this is exactly what's going to happen. What we did, we kind of nicknamed it a three-legged stool, the legislation that we created. The reason it's three-legged stools, you've got the local government piece, and it's very, very structured. All the rules are in place as to how you do a P3 at the local level. State agencies, all the rules are laid out and what everyone has to do so it's done correctly at the state level. At the transportation level, all the rules are laid out. What you have to do, what rules you have to follow, but more importantly, in each of those three categories, we have established oversight so that all the rules are being followed and that every P3 agreement we enter into is done correctly, precisely, properly, and exactly what we say is going to be done is done by all that are involved. So it's very, very important. Now let me tell you this. Here's the exciting part. With the legislation that we passed this past session, Kentucky is now being known through its P3 legislation as being the most comprehensive, but most important. Listen to this last word, because it was most important in my mind, in my heart, and I hope in yours as well, and what I pushed most. Not only the most comprehensive, but the most transparent P3 legislation in the country. Let's give ourselves a hand for that. Let's talk about ways we can use this, because we're bringing this up at this point in the program because as you hear more today and you go out today and you hear these innovative projects and you think about what you can do, think about how P3 could play a role in that. Because let's talk about it. We're worried about money. We're worried about getting things done. Here's how P3 can play a role. Let me use the local government example. And we've been talking about regionalization. That's another important thing about the way this legislation was crafted. You folks in local government right now, the way the language is written, it doesn't stipulate what you can do with it. It just says you have to do it. It has to qualify as a P3, and it has to follow these rules, and you can put together a P3 project. So let your mind reach as high as you want it to reach. The other thing it's not restricted on, it's not just for one county, it's not just for one city. You can pull yourselves together in a regional aspect. If there's something of specific need, like an infrastructure piece, and let me use one example that I've been using. Let's talk about wastewater treatment facilities. Let's talk about needs like that. Sometimes one county and/or one city can't afford those very, very expensive projects. But if you will go together with your neighbors next door, if counties will lay down the boundary lines, if cities will lay down the boundary lines, and you come together as a group of cities and counties and design this particular infrastructure item, and these ideas are supposed to reach into the future. You're supposed to be designing ideas that are going to last you 30 to 50 years. In fact, 30 on the low side. They can be projects that reach $500 million to $1 billion. But if you come together and you structure that, then you can create that one true infrastructure need, or many infrastructure needs, that you as an individual county or an individual city can no other way obtain. So there's a whole lot to learn about this P3 concept, but what I'm telling you is help is on the way, because as a result of what we've done in this last legislative session, we can now begin to think in those big creative ideas. For example, state of Kentucky, one of our true partners that sat at the table with us and testified on our behalf was Dan Parkinson, Secretary of the Tourism Cabinet, because of what they intend to do with the P3 model with our state parks. It's much needed, and it's a fantastic idea. Our folks in transportation already know what they're going to do with P3, and that's when you start getting into the billion-dollar items. So let me tell you something, guys. This is new, and we need to take it and run with it and use it, because it is another way to help us accomplish what we need to accomplish. Now let me brag on it just a little bit, because this is important for all of us. And Governor, this is important for Kentucky. This is important for Kentucky. I just came back for a conference in Minneapolis, and I spoke and told about Kentucky's P3 bill. But most importantly, they had all these other breakout forums and whatnot, and they talk about what they'd done with P3 and how all the other states had just done this little piece and that little piece and this little piece. Guess what? In every other sector that was talked about in that particular conference, all the little pieces they talked about, what was fun to come away with it was, we've got that in our bill. We've got that in our bill. We've got that in our bill. Kentucky did it, and we did it right. And we're getting ready to take the show on the road, Governor, because everybody all over the country right now is saying, come talk to us about the P3 legislation you all passed in Kentucky. So let me conclude by saying, Governor Bevin, thank you for signing House Bill 309 into law. Thank you.
Thank you, dear, for a great presentation. Thanks for the great work in Frankfort. Our next speaker is here to focus on innovations in our communications. This is Tom Wheeler's second visit to Eastern Kentucky as chairman of the Federal Communications Commission. Back in February, I invited him to visit the beginnings of what I told him was Silicon Holler in Jackson County, our first official gig-certified county, where some 150 people now are working from their homes, doing customer service for companies across the country, thanks to the new access to high-speed internet that was put in place by the local telephone company. We also made a trip while he was here to Hazard. We had a roundtable discussion with local leaders there, and we visited with WYNT TV and appeared on their talk show, he witnessed firsthand how some of our communities are already doing high-tech work and how we're preparing for access to high-speed, high-capacity broadband region-wide. So the chairman has witnessed communities across the country as they overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles. And I believe his insight will be very beneficial as we move forward in Eastern Kentucky. So, Mr. Chairman, we are honored that you care enough about our region and our country to visit us once again. So I want you to help me welcome the chairman of the FCC, Chairman Tom Wheeler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much, Congressman Rogers, and good morning, everybody. Governor, it's a privilege to be here. You know, when Hal Rogers says, I want to invite you to an event in Pikeville, the answer is yes, Mr. Chairman. But I must say I was a little disappointed because I thought I was accepting an invitation for Hillbilly Days. But as Congressman Rogers has said, I was here in February looking at some of the exciting things that are going on down here and meeting with the SOAR folks. While I was here, the governor named me a Kentucky colonel, and Mayor Linden and Hazard named me a Duke of Hazard. And I went home that night and I said to my wife, dear, I became a colonel and a duke in the same day. And both of those certificates now framed, Governor, hang on my wall, and proudly on my wall at home, in my home office. But I've told the stories of my trip here so many times, from the dinner table to policy forums, that when Congressman Rogers said, I want you to come back, I said, you bet, because what I saw here in Eastern Kentucky, both in terms of challenge and in terms of opportunity and what's being done, have made an indelible impression. The message I took away from my first visit was that broadband connectivity is essential to all parts of America, and that we have a collective responsibility to achieve universal broadband connectivity. There's been a lot of talk about railroads and the coal industry, and how the coal industry was built on the back of the railroads, which allowed it to be exported elsewhere, and how the information highway, super highway, as Congressman Rogers calls it, can be our modern equivalent of that. When I met with SOAR last time I was here, I saw the proof. From Jared's Guitar Shop. You didn't think I would remember this. He's hiding back here behind the curtain, folks. You didn't think I would remember this story, Jared, but Jared told this incredible story about his guitar shop. That as the economic environment turned down, he was worried about whether the doors could stay open. And then he said, let's get online and let's expand the market for the guitar shop across the country. And he changed the economics of that business. To the stories we heard about the community colleges and how broadband is enabling the delivery of a 21st century education. But I'll tell you, the real eye-opener that I had in my meeting with SOAR was meeting Jamie Adams, a one-time coal miner who now writes computer code, and Rusty Justice, the Pikesville visionary and entrepreneur, who saw the opportunity to mine code with people who used to mine coal and founded BitSource right here in Pikeville. Now, before I assumed my current position, I was partner in a venture capital firm. And I was investing in early stage, internet-based companies. And those companies used to send their coding to the Philippines, or India, or Ukraine. Now they can send it to Pikeville. And the key to being able to send it to Pikeville is the broadband pathway that now exists here, and that we have to make sure expands not just in eastern Kentucky, but across the country. Congressman Rogers took me to McKee. You all know McKee, 900 people, the largest town in Jackson County, which, as you know, is one of the poorest counties in America. No 4-lane highway, no railroad, no hospital, no college. Does have a stoplight. But McKee has something that really sets it apart, and that is that the People's Rural Telephone Company, PRTC, under the leadership of their CEO, Keith Gabbard, made a decision that they were going to connect every home in the county, as well as in Owsley County, with gigabit speed fiber. You heard the professor talking about 25 megabit. We're talking about gigabit speeds, which goes from measuring in millions to measuring in billions of bits per second. Some like to call what happened as a result a field of dreams kind of result, that if you build it, they will come. But I believe that it was simply a repeat of the economic model that Eastern Kentucky has already seen, and that is, if you connect it, opportunity will come. Because, as Congressman Rogers has said, in the past few years, 150 new jobs. In a town of 900 people, 150 new jobs have been created, excuse me, in McKee as a result of broadband connectivity. Companies like Apple and U-Haul are hiring Jackson County residents to work remotely. Now stop and roll that through your mind for a second. Apple, the darling of Silicon Valley, is doing business here in eastern Kentucky and creating jobs in Jackson County. And those jobs are producing an estimated $3 million in wages coming as a result of this connectivity that creates opportunity here in eastern Kentucky. But the numbers are even more impressive when you put them into context. The Eastern Kentucky Concentrated Employment Program, which has been working to connect Jackson County residents with these outside jobs has 23 counties in its jurisdiction. You know the turf. It's everything east of Highway 95 and south of Highway 64. In those 23 counties, every single one of those counties has fewer employees working today than a year ago, except for Jackson County. High-speed connectivity is a big deal. It's a big, big deal. And Jackson County is proving it. High-speed broadband connectivity is the most important commodity of the 21st century. And I chose that word specifically, commodity, because coal was an essential commodity in the 19th and 20th century because the economy ran on it. The information economy of the 21st century runs on high-speed broadband. And if you don't have that commodity, you're simply not part of the new economy. But broadband is not just about expanding the opportunity for current jobs, it's also about helping to make sure our kids have the skills necessary to compete for the jobs of tomorrow. When I was here, I met the superintendent of schools in Ossaly County, which is also served by PRTC. And he told the story about how, because of the weather, the students there miss about 30 days a year of school because of snow days. But the school system has plans in works to provide computers to students so they can have virtual classrooms on snow days, and they don't have to miss out on weeks of instructions. And that pathway that will take them to the classroom on the snow day will also take them out to more courses, to more specialists, to greater learning opportunities. Access to health care is also incredibly important, and Dr. Tom Frieden is coming up behind me, and he can tell you about that. But think about it. Medicine, whether it's taking your pulse or a CAT scan, medicine is about information. You deliver information over the information network so that you can have a doctor here and a patient here. So the promise of broadband, let me restate that. The proven promise that's been proven here in eastern Tennessee, the proven promise of broadband is almost unimaginable. But now here's the bad news. All this talk about world-class connectivity bringing opportunities to rural America is too often the exception, not the rule. The digital divide persists. It's great that in Jackson County they're adding jobs, but there are 22 other adjacent counties, as we just discussed. And what are we going to do about the Americans living in those 22 counties? An opportunity for them. We can't have broadband haves and broadband have-nots. The professor talked about broadband speed being defined at about 25 megabits a second, which is how we at the FCC have recently redefined it. That's basic internet connectivity. In rural America, 39% of households lack access to that basic level of connectivity. In urban America, it's 4%. In Kentucky, 34% of rural households, that's 626,000 people, can't access basic broadband. The number drops to 3% for residents of Kentucky's urban areas. Unfortunately, free market forces alone aren't going to close the digital divide any more than they built the railroads or delivered electricity and telephone service to rural America. In the 19th and 20th centuries, the government gave railroads the rights of way and provided subsidies for electricity and telephone service. PRTC's fiber network, for instance, cost somewhere around $50 million. You bet PRTC used their own capital to do that. But they also got loans from the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Rural Utilities Service. The 2009 Recovery Act, the so-called stimulus, provided grant money. And the FCC's own Universal Service Fund, which is financed by the American people, all of us in this room through a small fee on your phone bill, provides about $5 million a year in support to PRTC every year so they can deliver that. And Governor, here's an interesting factoid for you. All Americans on their phone bills pay a small fee assessed by the FCC to support build out of broadband across the country. Kentucky receives $85 million more a year from the FCC than it puts in. So I'd say that's a good return on investment. But you got challenges that this money is being put toward. And so that brings me to what I think is probably the most important lesson to draw from the Eastern Kentucky experience. And that is, if you can do it here, you can do it anywhere. We can do it anywhere. And that's the message that I've been delivering since Congressman Rogers brought me down here in February. There's no shortage of talk about broadband's power to transcend barriers and set up opportunities in rural America, but it's much more powerful to show than to tell. And Jackson County demonstrates that it isn't just an idea. If anybody tries to tell me that certain parts of this country are beyond the reach of the broadband revolution, they're too isolated. The build-out challenges are too great. It wouldn't make a difference in overcoming socioeconomic challenges. I just tell them, look at Silicon Holler. So if Jackson County proves that we can bring the benefits of high-speed connectivity to every corner of America, the question becomes, do we have the will to make that happen? I can assure you that at the FCC, our nation's broadband agency, we're 100% committed to this goal. And to this end, we have adopted a series of major reforms to take that Universal Service Fund that I told you about a moment ago, which was designed to deliver phone service into rural areas, and to reorient it for the internet age. We've replaced the outdated and inefficient Universal Service high-cost program with a more fiscally responsible, targeted program that invests in broadband expansion, not dial-up telephone. We'll invest $9 billion over the next 6 years and leverage private investment that will expand broadband to 7.3 million, I wish it was billion, 7.3 million rural Americans. In the 5th Congressional District, right here, Eastern Kentucky, that means we're investing in broadband delivered by two companies, Windstream and AT&T, $8.6 million a year to deliver service to 25,894, who's counting, homes and businesses. In March, the FCC added to this for the nation's smallest carriers, and we'll be providing them an additional $20 billion over the next 10 years. That's where the money for PRTC at $5 million a year comes from.